College students, what is the dumbest thing you've heard a fellow student say? My favorite has got to be when a student read World War II as World War 11. Student, do rocks have DNA? Prof, no, rocks are not living. Student, then how do they reproduce? How is there not only just one rock? This was a 300 level genetics class. A friend of mine moved into a new place at the start of his second year and threw a big house party to celebrate. It was great. It was wild. Fun was had, while nothing got broken. His living room got messed up quite a bit. Pillows all over the place. Chair tipped over. I think someone made a fort out of pizza boxes. Anyway, I go round this dude's house about 5 months later, and the living room is largely in the same state I last saw it in at that party. In fact, so was lots of the house. It had barely been cleaned. Mold was on a ton of their dishes. And there was a mushroom growing out of the wall in the bathroom. I asked him why the hell hadn't they tidied any of it up. And he said, we figured we'd have another party again soon. So why bother cleaning up? The other day I heard a girl giving a speech over nicotine addiction. This was supposed to be informative and have credible sources. I kid you not. I do not believe that cigarettes are addictive. I tried them once. I am not addicted. I had to try very hard to not start laughing. One time in class a girl was doing a presentation where she described a man from Uganda as African American. And didn't understand why that wasn't right. I had a friend ask me if the IRS was going to come after him since he did not pay his internet bill for 3 months. I go to a pretty rich university, but many of the students are poor and in on a scholarship, myself included. I once posted on Yak Yak about the feels of only having $5 in my account. Had someone comment with just take some money from your second account and put it in your checking account? To my relief, they got chewed out by multiple other commenters. Edit, typos. For all you spelling and grammar freaks out there, I apologize deeply for my phone's autocorrect. It was in a match class when a teacher was trying to get a girl to understand that 1/3 is larger than 1/4, but she wasn't having any of it. According to her, 1/4 was larger because there are 4 1/4s to make a whole and only 3 1/3s to make 1 2. So there are more 1/4s. More is larger. Therefore 1/4 is larger. Even when the teacher tore a piece of paper in 3 and another in 4. Wrote 1/3 and 1/4 on the corresponding papers. Threw everything away but 1 1/3 and 1 1/4 and asked her which is larger. She still went for the 1/4. Teacher sat down, didn't say anything for a minute and then continued class. That was the first time I'd ever witnessed someone giving up on a person like that. During an MBA marketing class, we had group projects where we basically had a set of data given to us to come up with a marketing plan. One group took the customer data and proudly averaged all of the customers' zip codes to get the geographical center of their customer base. Later in the professor's office, they argued when the prof told them it didn't work that way. The team leader said, well, that's just your opinion, and stomped out. I was about to graduate and move to Europe with my husband. My classmate, you'll be surprised when you get there. Europeans look American. You won't be able to tell a difference. Me, you should retake history. In my boyfriend's speech communication class, a guy got up to give his speech. It was obvious he didn't have one prepared. He started with, alright, ladies, raise your hand if you are single. So the reason you ladies are single is you need to lower your standards. He then called a super athletic, good looking classmate to the front and said, you keep going for these guys when you should be going for, and proceeds to call the super obese guy in the class to the front. I can't make this it up. Still my favorite. This one occurred in the stacks at the University of Kentucky in spring of 2014. Girl, I have no idea how I got chlamydia, but I didn't cheat on you. Boy, bullet. You ducking slept with so and so. Girl, no way. I must have gotten it from the bathroom at some random bar. Boy, you can get chlamydia from toilet seats ? Girl, duh, of course you can. Boy, oh okay, I didn't know that. Ladies and gentlemen of Reddit, I present the future of our country. How many pages do I need to write for the 5-page paper? No. There's 2 different types of turkeys, one for white meat, one for dark. I thought Ben Franklin invented lightning. This was said during a class on Western civilization. He isn't Asian. He's from Japan. When you think about it, isn't communism just anarcho-capitalism? Teacher just looked at him puzzled and said, no, not even close. I was the first gay man a sheltered girl had met in her life. At a party she asks me, so, since you're gay does that mean you want to sit when you pee? She was totally serious. I felt kinda bad for laughing in her face. But this was so far out of left field that I couldn't help it. Oh, don't get me started. Who is a queen? We live in England, she should know this by now. She's on our money. Whereabouts in London is the Taj Mahal? She thought it was a city in London. I was trying to explain the Big Bang Theory to someone. She replied to me, then how come when I throw this pen and shout bang there isn't another Big Bang? Yeah. That's easily the most stupid thing I've ever heard. Actually, a week ago, we had just gotten out of our final exam for the year, and this girl is making her way to the door. Before she even reaches it, she says to her friend, yeah, I had to copy a few parts of my book to reach the word count. You ever hear a record scratch in real life? And that 90s meme following it? That pretty much happened. The teacher called the girl up to the front and silently, without a word, began to go into the paper logs and saw that Turnitin had a 75% plagiarism rate. It was, well, for her, it probably sucked ass. But for the rest of us, golden city of how do you duck up this bad? I'm never going to need to know this for my career. He was talking about Calc 1 and he majors in mechanical engineering. A TA for calculus at a UC did a few examples of U substitution before the professor taught it in class. Several students were amazed and asked, dude, did you invent U substitution? In a social sciences health class when discussing sexuality with the professor. So when a male and a female orgasm they do it simultaneously, right? No, they typically do not. No. Oh. Everybody found the virgin in class that day. A friend of mine was taking apart a printer in the IT lab and another friend turned to see him opening it up and yelled, don't drink the ink. Completely seriously. Because that's how dumb he thought the first friend was. That he would immediately drink printer ink if given a chance. The topic of oral sex came up while the professor stepped out. After a good 12 minutes of talking about technique, preferences, past experiences, a male student finally says, I'll never come in a girl's mouth though I wouldn't want to get her pregnant. He was absolutely serious. We were playing some drinking game. Someone correctly answers a question with Afghanistan. This girl laughs out loud and goes, Afghanistan isn't a country. We all turned at once and laughed at her. I'm a history major and there was a fellow student in my class the other day who I heard say to his friend, who won the Civil War again? Isn't it obvious? ? Where have you been? If fish don't have lungs, how do they breathe? I'm a second year biology student. Less dumb than funny and poor choice of words. During a marketing class while doing a presentation, this kid was explaining how the shape of the glass affects beer. This glass's shape promotes a healthy head. Now I know kids our age don't like head, but the entire class erupted in laughter. Edit. I've lost the will to fight over effect vs. affect. Professor was demonstrating the need for quality checks. Asked several students to measure a piece of paper that was normal printer paper sized. One kid was supposed to measure in inches, another was supposed to measure in centimeters. Kid who measured in centimeters said the paper was 108 centimeters long. Now this is regular paper, 1 foot long on its longest day. This fellow did not even think twice before saying it was over a meter long. Nobody even picked up on this until it was remeasured for a quality check. Mind blowing. When they abort the baby, does it die? But you can't OD on alcohol. You just digest it. Both overheard from different people during an upper division medical ethics class. What always got me most weren't so much the short comments that were stupidity itself distilled and crystallized, but the long, Rambling comments where you're struggling like a drowning person reaching for the surface of the water and yet somehow there's just no discernible point in what they're saying. First day of freshman year. I sat down in a classroom after listening to lecture about evolution. The girl who sat down next to me had also been in the previous lecture. She said to me that lecture was so weird because I don't believe in evolution. Like, I just don't. This was in an honors college course. I later asked the girl what she was majoring in. It was biology. People don't realize, you know, the Civil War. If you think about it. Why? Oh wait. 2 girls. Business majors. Very stereotype. Why? Around 2010. We should start a website where anyone can sign up and simply pay a fee to charge their laptops over the internet. Oh yeah. That's a good idea. No mention of peripherals. So I can only assume the website hacks into the router you're connected to, turns it into a Tesla coil, and arcs a surge of electricity from the device to your laptop battery. 1. At least 4 students in my class listed Jesus' sin as a tenet of Eastern Orthodoxy in their papers. They plagiarized each other. 2. Everybody knows that black caucuses are bigger than white caucuses. That was an entertaining us gov class. A roommate was leaving early in the morning with his girlfriend. Where ya going? My girlfriend and I are going to watch the sunrise over the ocean. Comma chuckle. Okay. Have fun. So for clarification, this is the West Coast we are talking about. The guy comes back later pissed. You knew it wasn't going to rise over the ocean. Didn't you? Exclamation point. Maybe. He pauses. Well, which days does it rise over the ocean? Comma trying not to laugh. Try tomorrow. Teacher, we are on chapter 6 now. Says it verbally and then proceeds to write it on the board. 10 seconds later. Student 1. What chapter are we on? Teacher, we are on chapter 6. Student 2 that sits right next to student 1. Are we on chapter 6 now? Teacher with a confused face. Yes. My friend said Louis C.K. wrote Lord of the Rings. I'm probably too late to the party but I had to get that out there. Hard to believe, but 100% true. This is how the conversation went. Worth the read. Girl, so where are you from? Me, Honduras. Girl, oh. So you're like African? Me, oh me, no. It's in Central America. Girl, oh, wait. I thought that place was extinct. Me, what do you mean? Girl, yeah, isn't that some ancient place that went underwater years ago? Me, you mean Atlantis? Girl, yes, that place. You're from there? Me, loses brain cells just for knowing the girl. TL, DR 8th grade itch literally thought I was from Atlantis. Me, what's your major? Guy, it was aerospace engineering. Me, whoa. That's cool but what do you mean was? Guy, I'm on academic probation with the university because my GPA is too low. So I'm switching majors. Me, okay I'm sorry to hear that. What are you switching to? Guy, religious studies. I can get a job as a pastor. Me alright. So you are big into church? Guy, no. I rarely go but I can worry about that later. Oh my god. Teacher, name a country beginning with E. Classmate, euthanasia? For reference, I live in England. When I first moved into a house off campus, I shared the top floor with a surprisingly slow-witted guy. He was quiet and had an overnight job, so I really only saw him when we were all drinking or hosting a party over Christmas. And old friend was hard up for cash, so I bought his childhood NES and game collection. Probably overpaying since half my purpose was to help this guy out. It was a hit on our tiny TV. Most afternoons, a few people would be gathered around for some Tecmo Bowl or RC Pro-Am. Over spring break when I had the place to myself, I beat the original Metroid. Good times. Then, near the end of the semester, just before dawn in the haze after a huge party, some strangers walk in and start hauling off our TV, stereo, etc. My upstairs floormate confronts them, and one of these shady intruders says, "We're with the electronics repair service. We'll have these back to you right away." This guy proceeds to hold the door and help them with our old VCR. Most of the house had theater majors, so studying particular performances was legitimate homework, and then minors. They even got the cartridges. But when they started hoarding out CDs, he finally became suspicious. The specific dumbest thing regarding strangers who show up 5 AM and start hauling off the most valuable items from our front room was, they told me they were the electronics repair crew. So I helped them get everything out to their van. We had someone else living in that room the following year. What's the difference between the dot product and the cross product? You are not dumb if you don't know this. The question is only dumb in context. This was a course that required 2 courses as prereqs which taught and used dot cross products extensively. We literally use them every day in class for almost everything. This was the week before the final. This person had almost perfect attendance. I have no idea what the duck she was doing front and center every day, but apparently it wasn't paying attention. We shouldn't have to vaccinate men for HPV because it doesn't hurt them. I actually had this argument with a peer and a professor. They still didn't understand it in the end. We are all scientists. I'm just reading this thread really hoping I don't recognize myself in one of the comments.